So the first thing that I'm going to show you how to make is one of these flowers. So you can make these nice 14 petaled flowers using the cutting board, as well as making the standard letters and numbers. So we're going to start off with two types of card. You can see the two types I've used here. I've used two sort of quite nice contrasting papers. It doesn't really like the very thin paper. This is quite a sort of thin paper, and I found it quite difficult to cut. The more sort of standard paper cutting paper works much better with it. The sort of the standard stuff that you get in the packs of like 6x6 or the 12x12 paper packs. So this works by just popping it into the cutter here, and you see it wants to line up on the edge here. It's quite easy to do that. And how it works is you have a little cutting blade here, and you see that little knobble on there, that forms into one of these sort of runners here. So depending on the project that you're doing, it needs to go into a different place. If you're making one of the letters from one of the templates, it makes it very clear as to which groove you need to put it in. But I'm just going to be making one of the standard 2.5 by 1.5 pieces. So that goes into the top groove there, and you just slide it across, and that does the 2.5 inch cut. You can pop that back in there. So you can move it down. Now on yours, it won't have this as easily seen drawn line there. I've just purely done that because it makes it easier for you guys to see on the video. So you pull it across up to that line, and then you put it into this groove here to cut the 1.5 inch slot. Just like so. And that just comes away. So that's how you make those basic shapes. Now to make the petals, what we want is to create this sort of shape, and we do that by using this rounded, it's a piece that's designed to round off any corners that you have. So you just pop that in there and press it down, it rounds off the corner very nicely, and then just put it in the other way and it rounds off the other corner. Now to make it indented on the other side, you need to use the reverse here. Now you put that in and you line it up so that it fits into this groove on the left here, and then just give it a stamp, and then flip it over and do the same on the other side. Okay, so that's the basic shape. Now you can just use it like this, but I find it easier if you can just trim off the arms slightly. It just means that they fit together that much better. There we go. So because we want curved petals, use the edge of your scissors and just curve and curl the paper a bit. Now you want to do that 4 more times for the outer petals, and then you also want 5 of the inner petals as well. Now the only difference with the inner petals is that when you've got your basic shape, you want to cut about 1 centimetre off the bottom. Again, it just makes it fit inside the outer flower that much easier. And we'll curl that one too. And trim off the wings. Okay, so we can start with the outer petals, and it's literally just a case of dabbing a bit of glue on there and layering it on. Don't worry about being too accurate just for the moment, because it'll take a minute for the glue to dry and you'll have a bit of time to move them about and do a bit of jiggery pokery if necessary. See, I've made them far too spread out, so I can just move those round slightly until I'm more or less happy with them. go, that's quite nice. And then you do the same with the inner ones. The inner ones are easier because you can just line them up between two of the outer petals. See those petals there? So you just put that one between them, like that, and do that all the way around. Now you can do this with any type of paper that you like. Like I said, the thicker paper works better than the thinner stuff. The only real difference that makes is the actual punches cut absolutely fine, but for some reason the little sort of mini guillotine that you get doesn't seem to work so well in thinner paper. It tends to rip rather than just cut it. I don't know, perhaps just with a bit more practice it wouldn't be so bad, but anyway, that doesn't really matter anyway. Right, now we're going to make a small circle for the middle, and for that you want a 1.5 by 1.5 inch square. Here I've cut this by drawing an additional 1.5 inch line in from the end there, and you can just cut along the end and then turn the paper around and then measure it up, cut it along again. So that's how you get your square. This 1.5 inch line here and this central line in here don't actually come on the board. I've drawn those myself. You'll see how those come to be useful when we start making the other projects as well. So that's just how I made that anyway. So you just make a circle really simply by taking your square and you're just cutting each corner off. The reason why I can't actually do it on my crafting table is that it's a bit squishy because it's actually on top of a daybed. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take this over to the floor and then punch it. Because it's quite a thick card, this one, I need to put it on the floor and then really put my weight behind it in order to be able to cut through it. It cuts through it absolutely fine. I just need to put a bit of oomph behind it. But if you're using thinner paper, this wouldn't be as much of a problem. It's only because this is, you know, proper cardstock really. So there we now have our circle. Literally it's just a square, cut all the corners off and it makes a circle. And that we're just going to stick into the middle of our flower. And there we have it. That's how to make a flower. Kind of looks like a rose really, out of the mini alphabet punch board kit.